Hey guys, Basement Horrors here, and sorry for the wait. It's been about a month since the last video. Sorry if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw that my computer, the sound wasn't working at all, but I figured it out finally, and yeah, so I figured that out. So we're finally back to recording another video a month later. Anyway, today I will be telling you guys 3 terrifying stories that are guaranteed to chill your bones. Maybe it's a little bit dramatic, but anyway, I'm going to tell you 3 stories today. I hope you enjoy. Here's number 1. So, when I was in probably 2nd or 3rd grade, we had an early dismissal. For those of you who don't know, that's when school goes for longer than half a day, but we still get out an hour or so early. I remember sitting silently in class, working on math problems when the phone rang. I joked to my friend that was next to me that I hoped it was for me. We all watched the teacher answer the phone because we knew that 90% of the time it meant that someone was leaving class. When the teacher's eyes met mine, I suddenly got pretty worried. I was an anxious kid, so I immediately thought that someone had died. My teacher said something into the phone and then asked, "Bob 4786, when are you getting off the bus today?" I thought this was pretty weird. My mom knew when I'd be getting home because she always had to leave work early, so she'd be home when I got home. I just told the teacher, "The normal time." The teacher talked for a few more seconds and hung up the phone. I asked her what it was about, and she just told me that a parent just wanted to double check what time I got off the bus. I didn't really think about it that much the rest of the day. Later, I got off the bus and walked home without incident. When I walked in the front door, my mom asked me about my day and took my coat. I remember the look on her face when I asked her, "Why did you call the school and to see what time I'd be getting off the bus?" She looked shocked. She said that she hadn't called the school. I told her the whole story, and she immediately started making frantic phone calls. I knew that something was wrong, but I just watched some TV while my mom talked. About 20 minutes later, my stepdad came home from work early. About 10 minutes after that, a state trooper pulled up. I was pretty scared because I thought that somehow I was in trouble. The state trooper asked me a few questions like, "Has anyone tried to talk to you while you walked home from the bus stop? Have you seen anyone parked at the bus stop who didn't have a kid get into their car? Has anyone tried giving you a ride?" The answer to all of his questions was no. I had never seen anyone suspicious, as we lived in a pretty nice neighborhood, and it was mostly just old retired folk who live around us. My mom asked me to go upstairs and pack my bag, as it was my dad's weekend for visitation. When my dad got there to pick me up, he was questioned pretty heavily by the state trooper. I had been eavesdropping from upstairs. My mom called me back down, and I left with my dad for the weekend. My dad ended up teaching me some basic self-defense, which I thought was pretty cool. I never heard anything about the situation, and eventually I forgot about it. Fast forward to today, and I have been listening to Lazy Masquerade on YouTube, and he narrates a lot of stories from here. I then remembered the whole incident. I asked my mom about it, and what she told me chilled me to my core. She told me that someone had called my school posing as my dad. This man knew my dad's full name, my full name, and my mom's full name. He kept saying that my mom wanted him to pick me up from the bus stop because she wasn't going to be able to leave work early. The school didn't even bother calling my mom. I believe that the only thing that saved me from being abducted was the fact that I had told the man that I'd be getting off the bus at the normal time, which was around 3:15, when I had actually gotten off the bus at around 1:45. So, creepy guy who wanted to abduct me? Let's not meet. I'm a lot bigger now, and I don't think you'll have an easy time trying to abduct me. Edit. After reading what I had written here, I tried to look at it from an outside perspective. I realized that this guy had probably either been a family member or a family friend. This scares me even more because our family lives in the same house, has the same family members, and the same family friends. I have a little brother the same age that I was back then. For the past couple of days, after reading some stories, I remembered something that happened to me back when I was 19 years old. When I was 19, I was working at an Italian restaurant, which was a 10 to 15 minute walk from my house. Usually I'd walk there, but if I was running late, by late I mean that I had to be there in 20 to 25 minutes, I like to get to work 30 to 45 minutes before I have to be there just in case, I'd call a cab. On one particular day, I called a cab company, and this man picked me up. He was a short, balding 50-something-year-old. He made conversation, and we spoke for a bit while he drove me to work, which took no more than 5 minutes. He charged me a reduced fee and gave me his card and told me that should I ever need a ride to or from work, to just call his phone and he'll get me. Over the next 2 to 3 months, I'd call him, and he'd pick me up to sometimes take me to work, sometimes from work. Sometimes my mother would even call him and his services because I told her he was very nice and charged a lot less than a regular cab. But of course, nothing can ever be nice and innocent. The next few times he'd pick me up, he would tell me how beautiful I was and that he wishes he had a wife like me. I just did that fake laugh anytime he'd say it, and I didn't think anything more of it. Now, before we get to the next part, I know that I was incredibly stupid for allowing this to happen. Trust me, I have learned my lesson. Anyway, one night at around 6 or 7, he picked me up from work and said he was hungry and that we should go out to dinner. I told him no, that it was okay and I would rather go home. Instead, he gets right onto the highway the opposite way to my house, saying that we're going to get dinner. I'm internally freaking out. I text my friend and let her know what's going on. I did not want to text my mom because I irrationally assumed that she'd be mad at me for some reason. He pulls up to this Thai restaurant that's in a little strip mall area, and I'm like, okay, maybe his intentions aren't all that bad. I actually, yes, I'm stupid, go and have dinner with him. After dinner, he hands me a $100 bill and tells me to go buy something nice. Well, he buys a button-down shirt at some Banana Republic store. At this point, I'm freaking out again. When he comes back out, I hand him his money back and demand that he takes me home, and he obliges. It's a really awkward ride because all he's talking about is how pretty he thinks I am, how he really wants a kiss from me, and how he envisions a woman like me being his wife. As he pulls up to my house, he asks me if my parents are home, all the lights were off. But I say yes, and he seems to buy it. Not before asking me for a kiss, though. I said no thanks, but he tries to pull my face into his, and I push him off and run into my house. I never told my mom about this, but I did call the cab company and spoke to a manager, who my mom was friends with, and I made him promise not to tell her. Who told me that this wasn't the first time something like that happened, and that he would be taking care of it. I got calls from this man a couple of times after the incident, but they stopped after I changed my number. Luckily, nothing more severe happened, but it sure was creepy, and I should have demanded that he take me home as soon as he hopped on the highway. This happened when I was a kid. I think maybe 9 or 10. I lived in a little cookie-cutter house in the middle of a cul-de-sac for a chunk of my childhood. I like to think that I was fearless. I'd leave home for hours unattended, venturing across my small desert town to meet new friends and explore locations typically off-limits to kids. Thinking about it now, I was most likely on the run. My family was terrible. I could write post after post in the subreddit raised by narcissists about my folks alone. They were, and still are, so wrapped up in themselves that neglect was just a part of my life growing up. This meant that while it was easy for me to slip away from their crazy during the day, that things like keeping me safe and comfortable simply weren't among their priorities. For example, my window. My room was in the front of the house by the driveway. I don't know how it happened, but my blinds fell off the window or something. They were just gone. I had no curtains either. This meant that every dramatic plot twist of Barbie and Friends, every solo karaoke session, every Booker Picker and bedtime prayer and Goosebumps book read, all of it was on display by the neighbors. And I seemed to attract the attention of one neighbor in particular. I had this thing, this repulsion of beds when I was little. I don't know how to explain it. Basically, I slept all over my room except in the bed. I remember that this particular night, I fell asleep in an old recliner that had been retired to the corner of my room. I don't remember what woke me, but my eyes were drawn to the window. There was a man there. He was standing on the window ledge, his upper half bent to the side as to fit in the rectangle of the window. He wore some kind of ski mask thing, and he just stood there, staring at me. I stared back. Then, I shut my eyes tight and pretended to be asleep for a little while. And by a little while, I mean probably around 10 seconds. I don't know what the logic of fake sleeping was, but I just really wanted him to go away. Plus, I was in my panties. I didn't want some strange man looking at me in my panties as I ran away. So, I stayed in my busted old recliner and hoped he'd be gone when I opened my eyes again. He was still there. This time, he was sitting on the ledge, head tilted to the side as his body had been only a moment earlier. Again, he was very still. I was still too. For several seconds at least. I really didn't want him to know that I noticed him, so I tried again. Nope, still there. Still watching. Still waiting for me to react. I had no choice. I finally worked up the courage to uncurl myself from the recliner. Scared, and as embarrassed as I was, I left my room as nonchalantly as possible, as if I was just taking a stroll to the potty or something, and I didn't go back. Though in hindsight, he was probably gone the second my door clicked shut behind me. The entire ordeal left me with a fear of windows at night that persists to this day, even though I live on the top floor of my apartment building as an adult. So I figured it'd be creepy enough to share with you all. Thanks for reading. Hey guys, Basement Horrors here. Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like or comment down below, and if you haven't already, why not subscribe? Also, if you don't get on YouTube much and want to know when I'll be posting, or maybe you just want to look at more of my content, the links to my Instagram, Twitter, and newly made Facebook are on the screen, as well as in the description. In that very same description, you'll also find the links to the stories I read today if you want to see the originals. You can also find the artist of the songs that you heard today in the background, including the one you're hearing right now. Also on the screen is the link to True Horror Stories number 19. You can find the whole series as well in the description. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, as always, have a horrific day.